Hey, welcome back to my channel, guys. I hope you enjoy your day. I hope everybody's doing fantastic. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Zen Arena, the red coral that you see right there in my tank. A couple of things that I want to mention before I start is that a couple of weeks I went to Reefapalooza in Orlando, and I have a great time. A lot of stuff to see in there. I was very surprised that the show this year was a lot smaller than I'm used to. But regardless, I have an excellent time, and also I got my hands in some beautiful pieces that I'm going to show you guys in the future. This is for beginners right here. If you're starting in the hobby and you want to get your hands, like you really want to do this for real, I really suggest to go to these shows. Now you will see everything in the hobby in the shows. You will see like all the high end, all the medium and all the easy stuff, as well as new equipment, and you will get to meet like all these awesome companies that are behind of the hobby. I say that because my generation, quote unquote younger generation, we are very lucky to have all these companies that support the hobby. Why? Because they provide with the technology that the old timers they couldn't get. And if you think about it, a couple decades ago, most of these corals, nobody could keep them alive because of the lack of information and the lack of technology. So now that we have all this, I think we are really lucky. Why I got into reefing was because of LED technology. Back in the day, it was either metal headlights or T5s. I couldn't afford either or, so I waited until LED was available, and it took not that long, but now we are really grateful to have all this, and it's really nice to see like all the technology coming in and boosting the hobby. Okay guys, so if you get your hands, if you have a chance to go to these shows, do not hesitate. It's a really fun time, and you will really like it. All right, so I'm going to talk about Zen Arena. Okay, so the Zen Arena, that coral is one of my favorite LPS. The coloration, the size of the coral, the whole aspect of the coral is like, when I got into the hobby and I saw one of these, and the first time I never thought that was like a real thing, you know, and then I started digging, getting more information about it, and I fall in love with it. Of course, back in the day and now, these big media LPS, they are very pricey. Okay, they are not cheap. They are not cheap whatsoever. And like the one that I have behind me, that guy was quite expensive, but I got that one from Worldwide Corals in Orlando. And what I did, I couldn't afford it, to be honest. So I have other pieces, I trade those in, and I got this one. I was like in shock when I was like, okay, I'm like, this is happening. So few things. First of all, stability. Okay, that's the first thing that I want to say. If your system is stable, you can keep anything, right? With these guys, with LPS, some people say they are really hardy. It's true, but regardless, you want to keep your system very stable. You don't want to fluctuate here and there. The price tells you everything, man. So if you're like jumping in and out, don't get this. Another aspect of it is it requires fittings, constant fittings. So I feed my tank, like I do my regular feedings in the fish like every day, and I use different types of stuff. I use mysis shrimp, small mysis, and some fish eggs, rotifers. So all the stuff I mix it up, and I feed the fish with it. So, and the leftovers, some of the corals get that, and I notice this guy, he always gets some. I try to turn all the flow off and try to do my thing with the fish so they don't bother the Cynarina and the other LPS when they are eating. All right, guys, so here you can see this. This is the tool that I use to spot feed my corals. It's from two little fishes. It's called Julian's, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's very useful. I cut it to where I could use the length. It comes in like the tube comes really long. So for different dimensions, right? You just cut it to the size that you need it. But it's a really useful tool. Before this, I used to use turkey basters. They work, but this one works better. And then the food that I use is, of course, I use this. And I use the poly booster. All right. So this stuff right here, what I do is I pre-soak the powder like once a week. All right, so you see this right here. This is the roids. It's already pre-soaked. So I use salt water, water from my tank, fill this up, and then I put the powder in. This is going to last me quite a while. So the reason I do this is because the powder is already is wet. So when I introduce it in the system, it's not going to float. So it's a very handy trick to do the feed like this. Of course, the fish are annoying when you feed in your LPS. I'm going to show you what I meant by that, but and you just have to, I just have to go with the flow and try not to cook my fish, because sometimes they are annoying, especially my Desjardins. All right, guys, so let me show you my my Zen Arena, and let's talk a little bit more about it. All right, guys, so here is my Zen Arena. So like I told you before, I am very, very lucky to own this coral. This is one of my favorite pieces that I have in my tank right now. What it prevented me to have it before, two things. First of all, it's a bit rare, so you don't see them really often. And second, the price. Once you see them, they are very, very pricey. So those two things prevent me for a really, really long time to own one of these, until the opportunity presented itself. I went to Worldwide Corals in Orlando, and they have this specimen in there. I trade a few of my corals, actually a lot of them, for this one and I believe another one. The Cynarina are sometimes referred to as a meat coral. It's really easy to see why. It's so chunky, man, and what I really like about it is like when it inflates itself, you can see the bubbles are a little bit translucent, so you can see a little bit under between the bubbles. Okay, so another one is that some people call it cat's eye. I don't see a resemblance. Other people call it donut corals. I don't like donuts that much, so I don't see that. But really, really often, a lot of people call it Cynarinas. So the placement for this guy, as you can see, guys, is right in the bottom. I put it like right here, so in between the two pieces of glass. So when when the food hits the glass, it goes right in the mouth of this guy. I used to do that trick with an elegance that I owned a couple of years ago, and it worked pretty well. So 'cause sometimes I just get lazy and I don't want to spot feed, but if the food jumps or hits the glass, it's going to fall in the Zen Arena. Also, they're really aggressive eaters, really aggressive, more so than any other LPS that I own. But still, they're very slow eaters. So it's really a little bit annoying to feed them because the fish will steal the food really often. Another thing that I did is, so it's in the sand bed, right? But it's not all the way down in the sand bed. So the skeleton, I glue the skeleton to a piece of a big piece of tile. So it's elevated a little bit because I have a wrasse around here, and sometimes he likes to just go and move the sand around, and so I didn't like that. So that's why I elevate the coral a little bit from the sand bed. Okay guys, so here's another shot of my Zen Arena. It's in another angle of my tank. Notice that my sand bed is not super clean. I have diatoms. So I'm still fighting that stuff. So what I'm doing for that is just, I got my UV, which some people are watch the video. It's helping a lot. I noticed I don't have to clean the glass that often, but the diatoms, I have to stir the sand more often than enough in order for it to disappear. But whatever, is just part of the hobby, right? So the Zen Arena right here, I was talking about the bubbles. You can see the bubbles are a little bit translucent, and you see how big it gets. It's amazing. Another piece that I really want is the purple Zen Arena. That one is even rarer than this one. So if I ever get my hands into it, I will be like, okay, now I can die in peace. I'm going to show you guys how I spot feed this guy and how it reacts to the food. It's an easy coral to keep. I was I was freaking out a little bit when I got it, of course, because of the price of the coral. It's not something that it's not a little piece of GSP, you know what I mean? So it's like if I lose this, I'm like, that's it, I'm done for it. But my system is very stable, and that's why I was like, okay, I can try it. So yeah, that guy right there, the Desjardins, he is the thief. He likes to steal everybody's food. He's the one that wants to eat the most. So when I'm feeding this guy, I have to fight him to get out of the way, because he really likes to steal the food from the Zen Arena, and is very annoying. And so the placement is always lower in the sand bed. The light, so the radiance that I have right now I'm running an AB plus, and the intensity is at 50%. Okay, and also I try to keep it in an area where nothing really falls into it. I'm saying that, and this guy is like right next to it, but it's in a frag rack, and that's one of the pieces that I got from Reefapalooza. I'm trying to keep my eye into it, like if the fish try to move it or whatever. So hopefully it's not gonna fall into it. If that, I just have to move it. So the placement is in the sand bed. Light intensity is kind of medium to low. Also the flow intensity. So I have a vortex right here, and another one in the other side of the tank. They are programmed to change the flow during the whole day. So depending on the time of the day, the flow changes. Apparently in this area where the Zen Arena is, the flow is very mild. So that's a good thing. I have flow, but I don't have a strong flow, and that's something that you want to keep in mind when keeping these guys. The tissue is really fragile, so if you have a lot of flow, you are going to damage that. You really do not want to have that. So that's why you want to keep it in an area where the flow is like is good enough, so it blows. Like if it has sand in the mouth or in the polyps, whatever, in the polyp, I will say, in the because it's a single polyp, but it's not strong enough that it's going to flip it or damage the tissue. Okay, and that's it. You have to give it also quite some space, because it gets, I mean, you see mine is pretty large. All right, guys, so let's do the fitting and see how it goes.